Yeah, what's going on, guys? Seth Spartan here, nutrition, training, and hormone expert and Prometheus Pro bodybuilder with Prometheus HRT, the world's best testosterone and hormone replacement clinic. Use my code Spartan to save on either testosterone or HGH replacement therapy or peptides or Anavar, Anadrol, and the list goes on as long as you qualify. Guys, without any further ado, today we are going to be talking about how to lower testosterone levels. Or another way to say it, how to completely crash your natural testosterone levels. Now, guys, I decided we're gonna do something different and we're gonna do something fun, all right? We're gonna do a video unlike what we usually do. So guys, if you want to keep your natural testosterone levels as high as possible, I advise not doing these 5 things. Here we go, guys. Number 1 way to lower or crash your natural testosterone levels: sleep. Now, a lot of you guys probably saw this coming already, but sleep, guys, is extremely important for hormone function, and testosterone still falls into this category right away. So, in a study they did, guys, famous study in men, if men are only sleeping 5 hours per night, 15% drop in testosterone levels. Now, I know what you guys are probably saying. Hey, it's only 15% drop. Guys, if the normal range is 7 to 8 hours, if you drop 15% just by 5 hours, I am willing to bet and argue for that matter that this is going to look like, if it's 24 hours without sleep, I am willing to bet that testosterone levels drop 50% with 24 hours without sleep. Again, if the study shows reducing sleep to 5 hours, that's a 15% drop. I am willing to bet and tell you guys that's probably going to look like a 50% drop in testosterone levels if you go 24 hours without sleep. Moving on to number 2. Number 2 way to completely destroy or crash your natural testosterone levels, and arguably the biggest way, guys, on this board is none other than, you guys guessed it, SARMs. Now, a lot of people don't know much about this, and I chalk this up to just terrible misinformation, and a lot of the guys talking about SARMs are also selling SARMs or involved in this. Here's the bottom line, guys. SARMs will absolutely shut down your natural testosterone production and completely just wreck your hormone profile, okay? I know a specific individual, all right? Moderate dose LGD, all right? Moderate dose LGD. Testosterone level reduced into the 200s after about 1 week of usage. Let me say that again. That's about a 90%. Let me say it for the first time. That's about a 90% drop in testosterone levels. So even guys, with a moderate dose of SARMs, regardless what any people say, you can, in the United States and many other countries for that matter, SARMs are completely legal to buy and possess, right? Having said that, SARMs attach onto androgen receptor sites the same as our body's natural testosterone. What does this mean? It means it's going to attach onto receptor sites also on the pituitary and I'm sure hypothalamus, thereby doing what? Shutting you down in terms of natural testosterone production. So again, in the case of my friend, LGD, moderate dose of SARMs, we're talking around a 90% shutdown of natural testosterone levels. His levels were, like a 90-year-old man, and he's, 20 years old about. All right, so the thing is that, if people want to say SARMs don't shut you down, then they can say that and they can lie. Maybe they're either just completely ignorant or, either they're ignorant or they're lying to you because they're trying to sell SARMs. Whatever the case is, guys, bottom line, SARMs shut you down. And if you were to go out and get SARMs off the internet and use it after a week, you can test your own testosterone levels and you can see, guys, SARMs will shut you down insanely difficult, depending on which SARM you use, up to 90%. That's 90% reduction in testosterone. So that's one of the biggest points, guys. Number 3, moving on. How to lower testosterone levels. hard dieting. Now this cannot be understated. Hard dieting, that's not a small caloric deficit. We're talking a large caloric deficit. Hard dieting will shut you down. Whether you have a lot of fat or a very little fat, hard dieting will shut you down. Why? When your body senses that you are in a heavy or a high deficit, what happens is that your body oftentimes will go into starvation mode. What does this mean? This means that basically it's going to limit the amount of testosterone production. Now this has been seen, tried, tested. If you cut your calories, for example, if tomorrow you cut your calories in half or more, your testosterone level is going to drop very sharply. And we see this, across the board in all different examples. All right. So hard dieting will shut you down because you're forcing your body's starvation mechanism. Moving on. Number 4, low body fat percentage. Now, guys, the reason that I want to touch on this and I want to bring this up is to drive home one absolutely critical, important point. I came from competitive bodybuilding. Guys, it is extremely, extremely well seen in the bodybuilding world. You have a natural athlete or a natural bodybuilder. He gets into, show-ready competition state. We're talking, he diets down to a 6-pack and then further. His body fat percentage is in the single digits somewhere, all right? Usually around, anywhere below 9%, 8% body fat, all right? You have a natural athlete drop his body fat percentage down way low. What happens? Well, it's almost the same point as before where you're tripping your body's starvation mechanism. However, even if you diet slow, if you're a natural bodybuilder, natural athlete, your testosterone levels absolutely crash when your body fat percentage goes below a certain point. Why is this? In the body, you have a hormone called leptin. Hormone leptin basically tells your brain how much stored fat you have available. It's an amazing way that God pretty much designed our brain and our bodies to know how much body fat we have on us at any stored moment, thereby telling our brain how much available calories we have to burn or how much calories we have available for use at any given time. So as you guys guessed it, if you lower your body fat percentage below a certain point, or basically the lower you go, the less leptin you have. Once leptin levels get below a certain point, what's going to happen is that your body is going to do what? We already talked about it a little bit in the other point. Your body's going to force that starvation mechanism, and your testosterone levels and estrogen levels for that matter are going to drop to like absolutely nothing. Now, I know, or I want to tie this in here too. Let's talk about women for a second. It is well known, and by well known, I mean very well known by doctors, whether even if it's a primary doctor, they don't have to be endocrinologists. It's well known in the medical world that women, especially women athletes, all right, women who drop their body fat percentage down really lean. This happens primarily with women athletes because they're training so much, they're not eating enough, blah, blah, blah. But this happens with men the same way it happens with women, okay? Please take note of that. So what happens is that when women drop their body fat percentage down, usually 9 times out of 10, it's because they're a hard training athlete or, maybe they have eating problems or whatever. What happens? Basically, their ovaries shut off, their period ends, and sometimes women won't get their periods for months, even years, if they are hard training athletes and they have very low percent body fat. Now, in the same way that happens with women, their ovaries shut down, they don't have a period anymore, and their estrogen levels crash for that matter. The same thing happens with men. If the body, obviously though, your body fat's going to have to be lower than that because men's naturally set body fat percentage is lower than with women. Women, you typically have a higher, women always have a higher genetically set body fat percentage that their body wants to stay at. Men is a little lower. Having said that, we talked about women. Women lower their body fat percentage to a certain point. Ovaries shut down, no period. It's obvious, pretty much every doctor knows this or should know this for that matter. However, same thing happens with men. except the body fat percentage has to go down even lower than that, right? Obviously, because of that setting we talked about. So men lower their body fat percentage down to, very low levels. What happens? Their testicles basically shut off because their brain is discontinuing the signal of LH, luteinizing hormone, and FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, to the testicles. So testosterone production shuts down greatly, and also sperm production shuts down greatly. Why? Because the body thinks you're starving. It has no idea you're preparing for a show or whatever reason. It doesn't know why your body fat is so low. So it initiates that starvation response, much like the women we talked about. All right, guys. So here we go. Ready for this? Last point, number 5. A low-fat diet. It has been well known for many years. Well known. If you go on a low-fat diet, testosterone levels reduce. Why? All right? It doesn't, even if you're eating enough calories. You go on a low-fat diet, the lower the fat diet, the lower testosterone levels. Why? Now, there's many people who are watching this video, I'm sure, or will watch this video, that have studied nutrition or, dietitian, whatever, but regardless, people that have studied nutrition are already going to know what I'm going to say, or have studied anatomy at some length. What is the raw component for testosterone? I'll give you guys a second. What is the raw component for testosterone? If you said cholesterol, you're 100% right. In the male body, you have cholesterol floating around the male body in the bloodstream, right? The testicles, namely the Leydig cells in the testicles, will literally grab floating cholesterol, pull it into the testicle, and change it into testosterone. That's what the Leydig cells do. The Leydig cells in the testicles literally grab floating cholesterol and spit out testosterone. Cholesterol is the raw component for testosterone, all right? In the same way, amino acids are the raw component to make up every protein in the human body. So what does this mean? This means that diets that are either low or extremely low in fat, especially saturated fats, guys, what happens? Men's testosterone levels, they go way down. Why? Because there's less available fuel for them to turn into testosterone. And this is also the reason why, guys. If you eat lots of, I just had a really good, hamburger, steak, whatever, But, guys, let's get serious for a second. This is why if you're eating lots of steak, burgers, if you're eating lots of eggs with the yolk, if you're eating lots of animal products and getting plenty of saturated fats and other fats, what's going to happen? Testosterone levels are going to shoot up if you're natural. We're talking about natural people right here. So more egg yolks, more saturated fat, you're eating lots of steaks, whatever, testosterone levels go through the roof. It's burger meat, whatever, testosterone levels go through the roof. What happens if you reduce fat intake? Less available fuel for your body to grab, namely the Leydig cells in the testicles. The Leydig cells can't grab the floating cholesterol as much. Why? Because there's less cholesterol. You're basically making that process harder and more efficient for the body. And guys, last thing I want to throw in here, this is really, I already talked about this. The more extreme that this is in terms of reduction of fat, the more loss of testosterone you're going to have. And guys, I want to say this, even my grandparents came over from World War II Germany. Even then, a very long time ago, even then, their parents and their family, even then they were told, keep, if you don't want the boys to go chasing women, you take away the egg yolks, all right? They didn't know why, but they knew that, if the guys were eating lots of eggs, they were more girl crazy than normal. And, it's kind of funny. I used to joke about this with my mom because she said, oh, don't, my grandmother used to say, well, don't give him too many eggs, he'll go chasing women, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's funny because this is like, guys, this is, like 75 years ago. This is, World War II Germany. And people already knew this without any of the science. And guess what it shows? Yes, if you're eating lots of eggs with the yolk, guess what? Testosterone levels go way up. Why? There's a lot of cholesterol, and you're going to, again, without a doubt, scientifically, medically, you're increasing testosterone levels. Why? Because you're providing the male body with more cholesterol to turn into testosterone. Guys, that's pretty much it. These are 5 ways to absolutely lower or crash your testosterone levels. The only thing that I can think to add on or touch on is this. With sleep, in regards to our first point with sleep, one reason why firefighters or other people that are on call, especially notoriously firefighters, have just terrible testosterone levels, they have absolutely crashed testosterone levels, is why a lot of firefighters are on call all the time and they're hardly sleeping, for days. They're sleep deprived and they keep getting interrupted in the middle of their sleep cycle. So this is one reason why firefighters are notorious for having terrible testosterone levels. Guys, I'm Seth Spartan. Stay safe, stay healthy. Keep submitting your questions. And you guys guessed it, we are out of here.